Hello, folks. My name is Shera, and welcome to the stream. Just starting this a few minutes early. We'll probably start the actual game around 8:05 p.m. my time, so Eastern Standard. But in the meantime, I do hope you can hear some of the chill lo-fi I have going. I'm probably going to be quiet until folks start coming in. But for anyone who does join, or watches this later on, thank you for joining in. Hi, Flame! Thank you for popping in. I hope you're having a good night, and I hope you already got supper. If it is supper time wherever you are. Yeah, I used to live with my buddy Jay, and their family used to do the same thing. Used to not eat until 8 or 9 p.m. I don't know, that doesn't work for me. I don't like eating too late in the day. But I make sure to get supper when it's available. I don't like eating late. It messes with my my digestion, and all that jazz. I feel like I don't sleep as well afterward if I don't eat. The latest I try to eat is like 8. But everybody has different stuff. So Kit isn't with me tonight. He has his own stuff going on. That said, if you pop out because Kit's not here, I'm not gonna get offended. I understand. He is a driving force behind a lot of my content, so I understand. I thought I properly changed the name of my stream tonight to reflect that. Because whenever he is streaming with me, I'm going to have his name in the title. Hi, Kit. Thank you for popping in. Hi, Sandra. Ah, that's understandable, Flame. Either way, I appreciate you folks popping in. Is Eppo some new slang I'm unfamiliar with? Oh, by the way, how's the audio? Oh, okay. Is a special thing for the flame bean. I like it. It's cute. I like it. How's the audio, y'all? Is the music audible? Good. Alrighty, good to know. I'll probably just be doing some one-offs tonight, for like special, like I don't think I've done the golf course yet. Or maybe I I don't think I have. Because most of what I've done on stream so far has been DLC levels. This blue bear is doing pretty well. I'm glad you guys are doing okay. And, Sandra and Kit, I hope you folks get supper at some point here. Yes, good, I'm glad. Supper important. Yeah, there's actually a Five Guys right down the street from me for next time you visit, Kit. Yeah, you do you, Kit. I appreciate you folks popping in at all. You're definitely not obligated to stay the whole time. It's probably gonna be close to 3 hours or so. We'll see. Since I don't work tomorrow, I have a little more freedom in how long I can stream till. Now, Flame, that sounds suggestive. But no, yeah, next time you pop over, there is a Five Guys right down the street from me, so we can go get that. I've only eaten there once, but it was nice. Don't ban folks for being suggestive or silly. None of my friends will be able to join. I mean, Flame's not wrong. It was an innocuous statement. I actually made myself grilled cheese a couple minutes ago. And a Taco Bell just opened down the street from me, so I had that for brunch. Yeah, about 2 more minutes, I'll start the game up proper. Now, children, no arguing in the chat. Yeah, I don't think I've done the golf course yet on here, and it's one of my favorite maps. It's also a pretty long one. Alright. we might as well get started. Oh. There we go. Sorry, OBS wasn't showing it for a bit and I was worried. Okay. Lady Pip of Loganbury, Muckingham Recreation Ground. O hero of great renown, our kingdom, which doubleth up as a course of golf most miniature, is besieged by 3 enemies as old as time itself: grime, filth, and squalor. What 'twas once an arena worthy of the greatest champions has, alas, fallen upon misfortune, and now resembleth the leftovers of an ogre's picnic. In sooth, 'tis the foulest, most fetid golf course that any man, woman, or child has ever had the misfortune to set eyes upon. Thou and thine magic wand art much celebrated throughout the realm, and doth come highly regarded, which bodeth well, as this art no challenge for the faint of heart, or greaseless of elbow, except at thine peril, or all souls be damned. No, this is one of my favorite levels. It's actually a recent, I say recent, comparatively recent. But yes, it is a... Let me take a quick tour of it before I start cleaning. This is a medieval-themed golf course. Mini golf, specifically. I think I would love to do mini golf here, I think. I haven't figured out yet whether or not there's an achievement linked to doing anything with the golf balls in this. I don't think there is, but there are a few hidden achievements I haven't done yet, so it's very possible that there is. But yes, this is the final hole. And then the exit for players. But yes, this is an adorable little golf course. So I will start down here. If I remember correctly, so it's changed throughout the centuries. But back in the old days, thee and thou used to be the intimate, like, okay. So English, most other languages have a formal and an informal version of you, the word you. Like in Japanese, there's like various versions of it, depending on how close you are to somebody. French has tu versus vous. Other languages have other versions. For English, it used to be thee and thou were the intimate form that you would only use with family or close friends. You and your were the formal or non-intimate form of you. And eventually, that's the one that stuck. Which is almost a little bit of a shame because, like I said, most other languages have, well, specific words they use for intimate and versus formal. Anyway, I think it's interesting. It changed a few times throughout the years. Like thee and thou at one point became the formal version. And then they just stopped being used altogether. Of course, English itself is also a clusterfuck of languages, given that it's like 3 misshapen languages, 3+ languages shoved into one trench coat. Because you have the original Anglo-Saxon, language. And then they were invaded by the Romans and the French at different points in history. So, as a result, we have a lot of repetitive words in English that it's very different from a lot of other languages. Like verbs especially, we have repeats because we have them from each of the main languages. The original Anglo-Saxon terms are usually seen as the quote-unquote vulgar or more basic terms. The French as a little more fancy, and then the Latin, or, well, Roman Latin, is usually seen as the technical term, like kingly versus regal, and that kind of connotation throughout the years has changed. I don't know. I was reading a thing about it a while ago, and it's also something, it was something I learned back in college, but much of my specific knowledge has fled. But yeah, the language is interesting in that English is not a cohesive language, it is multiple languages. It's kind of like, I would call it like the dragon from Dragon Tales with multiple heads, but that's even the implication that they are that cohesive is incorrect. It's three midgets in a trench coat fighting for control and occasionally mugging other languages and rifling through their pockets for spare grammar. Is the way I've heard it described. Which is all to say that the thee and thou and such from the start of this is what made me think of all that. Sometimes I remember that I have an English degree. Alright. Let me at least get the ground down here, and then I'll tackle things... I'll tackle them in the direction that the game is meant to be played, I think.
With Asana,
nope.
It's easy to
no.
monitor projects across teams.
I can't skip this ad.
And progress
How rude.
at a glance. So you and your team can
Yeah,
make
yeah,
smart
yeah.
decisions.
I'm sorry, company, you don't get free advertisement from me. But yeah, one of my college professors jokes about, like, what a absolute clusterfuck English is all the time. Anyone with a working knowledge of the language understands that it is not normal. And I pity anyone who has to learn it as a second language because it doesn't make sense. Because it's not, again, it's not one language. We have 3+ languages, grammar rules, like language rules, like rules about plurals. It's all just a mismatch. Alrighty, thank you for popping in, Brian. Now you gotta go close the store real quick, right? I appreciate you popping in, and I'll look forward to your return. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing you when you return. I wish... So part of me wishes I had either been recording or streaming this afternoon when I was playing The Sims 4. I have this mod pack, not mod, well, it's mod technically. It's called the Extreme Violence mod. I don't use it very often unless I'm in a mood because it's the mod that lets you murder people and stuff. People, Sims. And I use it extremely rarely. Usually I make like a single evil sim go to town, and then I get tired of it because it kind of gets boring after a while. So I wasn't actually planning on using it, but I had a character who was running a food stall, and this one lady kept screaming and yelling at her and trying to start fights for no reason. And so I just, yanked her heart out. And turns out you can sell those hearts for 10,000 simoleons. So I was able to beg the Grim Reaper to bring her back. The sim that my sim murdered. So I'm like sitting here like, yay, renewable resources. I'm a terrible person. Of course, that sim hates my sim even more now, because, yanking out someone's heart all Kali Ma style does not a good relationship make. But I thought that was funny. Another sim kept glitching into my house and, not stealing my stuff, but, taking my food and all this other stuff, even though everything I had was locked. So I killed her. I wasn't able to get her back, but that's okay. She was an elder anyway. Again, I'm talking about The Sims. These are not opinions I have about real life. Yeah, maybe I'll just do a sim stream sometimes. I'm a little hesitant to do that simply because The Sims is such a slow-paced game. But at the same time, this is not a fast-paced game. So, let's see, I got that. Alright. But yeah, I would probably, if I were to do a sim stream, I would probably make a house and character ahead of time, possibly, and then try to play out a scenario or something. So it would be less boring, I guess? Or I could just simply put, set up a house full of chaotic Sims and let them do their own thing on autopilot and see what happens. Some folks do that, and it has some interesting results. Especially if you have mods. Any games y'all have been especially fond of lately? This particular week, I have Monday off, so I'd like to play some Final Fantasy XIV and get a little bit caught up. I'm nowhere close, I only just started Endwalker, but I'll put in a little bit of time in there and see if I can get a little closer to being on the same page as everyone else. Besides, I missed my beans in FF14. 'Tis an enjoyable game. Now, is that one of the remakes of Persona 5, or is that a different game altogether? But set, like, in the same universe slash with the same characters? I'm afraid I don't know much about it. They actually just re-released an updated, nicer-looking version of Persona 3, which I'm bitter about, because it's not the version that has the female main character, and therefore I'm not going to play it. Because the version with the female main character is... It should be an option, is all I'm going to say. There's... The fates of several characters are slightly better in that version. Yeah. My roommate's been playing a new save file on Persona 5 on the PlayStation 4 in the living room the past couple of weekends. So, I haven't played the game myself, but I've learned a lot about it through osmosis, I guess. Yeah, Persona 3 Portable, originally on, I think, the PSP. Yeah, given that there's at least one character who doesn't die in that version, which is superior. I just wish the company was better at not promoting pedophilia. That would be really nice. Yeah, well, the answer deserves to get remade, along with the rest of it, so... No. This one I can skip. There we go. Yeah, that, I mean, words. It makes sense. Wasn't the original Answers also DLC? I don't remember. I watched my buddy Jay play the whole thing when I lived with them. But I haven't finished my own playthrough of Persona 3 or Persona 3 Portable. Or FES or whatnot. Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Persona 3 is still probably my favorite. There's a handful of reasons, but it's the only one I've seen a full playthrough of, I have some nostalgia towards it, so that's probably a big part of it. Persona 5 is a lot of fun, but there's aspects about it that super rub me the wrong way. So I can't really enjoy it. I think I own most of the games at this point. I'm wondering... Sorry, I'm trying to think of... Yeah, I understand why they would choose not to remake the female protagonist, but again, given I just think we deserve it. Like, I don't know. I think we deserve a version of it, of the game with the female protagonist that's been remade. Again, I really wish the game wouldn't, I really wish the studio in general wasn't so fond of pedophilia. Like I'm just thinking, sorry, I just got caught up thinking about, like, some of the romance routes in Persona 5. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that she's non-canon, but also, like, I don't know, we deserve better than that. Like, I don't want every single goddamn Persona game to have a male main character that's boring. I'm sorry. I want the option to have both, and I think they're perfectly capable of putting in the time and effort to make both, and to remake the game that way. I don't know why the series is... I don't know. In part, it's a thing... I think it's a cultural thing, partially. Especially with teachers and pedophilia. It's somehow seen as less creepy, or at least I see it a lot more in Japanese media than I do in other media. For example, part of why I like Clamp's work, but I can't really respect them because of all of the creepiness. Especially, in Cardcaptor Sakura, when, like, the primary school teacher gets engaged to one of Sakura's classmates, who is also a baby, and it's seen as perfectly fine. It's like, Clamp, what the fuck? And to my knowledge, most of Clamp are female creators, so I guess they just really, like, I think it's just something that's really ingrained in the culture. And it's not to say it's not ingrained in other cultures, but I think a lot of us are, I can't, actually, no, I'm not going to make any sweeping statements. It depends on the creators. I'll just say that I do see a lot more of mainstream games and shows, comics, and other stuff where pedophilia of teachers towards students is okay. I see that a lot more in Japanese media than I ever see that in Western media. So I think it's a cultural thing. Which is a shame, but well, if the various stuff fetishizing teenagers is not new in Japan or in other cultures, so it's creepy and weird, and I really wish it just weren't a thing, because it's like, do y'all not remember those are babies? Those are actual infants, please. So it's a shame, and hopefully it's something that is less and less of an acceptable thing that we see in the media, or played as jokes as time goes on. I'm hoping, we'll have some progress throughout the years here. Hopefully. Oops. It's part of, that's a large part of why I don't play Persona 5. I enjoy the characters, but when I say that, I'm saying that about me specifically. I'm not saying other folks can't and shouldn't enjoy it. I'm saying that's specifically why I don't play it. Other people can and should play stuff they enjoy. I'm not here to yuck anyone else's yum when it comes to games. Real life stuff is a different story. But how they treat On through the entire game, the objectification of On, despite the fact that, like, we open the game with sexual assault stuff and deal with it multiple times early on, and yet we still use On as the way she's still treated throughout the game. It's just massive cognitive dissonance for me that I can't overcome. And so I personally don't find the game pleasant for me again, personally. That said, a lot of folks I know really enjoy the game and have a lot of fun with it, and it has a lot of redeeming qualities. So I will never tell anyone to not play it. Because, you know, the creators are making some kind of attempt. And I'm glad that other folks do enjoy it, because it is a lot of fun. I've read several... There's quite a few fanfics that have Ken from Persona 3 popping up and joining the Phantom Thieves in Persona 5. And, you know, they're of various qualities, but some of them are quite good. I enjoy them. It's nice. It's like, oh, because something to remember is these characters do all exist in the same universe, technically. So it's absolutely possible that a lot of them could meet or have met, and I know that's part of what there's some of the games, like something Labyrinth. There's some crossover games to that effect, although they're dubiously canon. Either way, they look like a ton of fun. When I was watching my buddy Jay play Persona 3 when I was living with them after college, I just remember them gleefully dragging Ken into extra training, like, "Come on, Ken, we're going to Tartarus! You want to see a dead body?" Poor kid. I was going to do this section by section, the whole golf thing, but I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, and my brain has apparently decided to do the outside edges first and come back for the smaller things, so I guess that's what I'm rolling with now. I started talking about too many things, and started cleaning stuff on autopilot. To be truthful, we are fortunate that I did not simply just, while talking, stop cleaning altogether. Because, yeah, that's also a very me thing to have done. So it's something of an accomplishment that I've cleaned it all. See, we're talking about Persona and Jay's not even in chat. I think they're busy. It's just funny is all. Yeah. You're not done yet because you're connected to that. Right. Yeah, it's a very interesting series. There's a lot to be said about it. If nothing else, it's super creative. And you know, that's leaving aside the tangentially related stuff like the Shin Megami Tensei or Devil Survivor. The company makes interesting games, that's for damn sure. You can never say that their stuff is boring. Yeah. I think I do remember that, because it came first. And then the first two Persona games... Like, I believe Shin Megami Tensei was more popular. Then the first two Persona games came out. and then they became popular. I think 3 was really where the Persona by itself really started to blow up, and then 4, I think 4 hit in a sweet spot culturally. And then 5, of course, is really blew up. Because a lot of what they were tackling in that game really resonated with, you know, modern audiences. Yeah, I think 3 was really what popularized it, especially because the first 2, well, they're difficult to find now. I don't know if they've re-released them in any recent years. But 3 is what really, I think, solidified the formula that the following games used. I mean, yeah, that's fair. And by first 3, we're talking about, was it Persona 1 or 2 that was split into 2 games? I don't recall. This is cute graffiti underneath this dirt. Was it an alternate universe for those 2 Persona games? Or... I don't remember. I never really did any... I never played them, and I never really read much about them either. I remember something about a split timeline for those 2 games or something. Where? 6, 7, 2. Okay, so where am I missing? There's still a little bit on this. Maybe? There we go. No. No, let me up. Let me up. There we go. Bah. The outside area of this castle is relatively large and also a bit of a pain in the patoot to clean. Okay, the second Persona game, Persona 2 game, Eternal Punishment, is kind of a sequel to the first one, Innocent Sin. Yeah, that tracks. I wonder if they split them into 2 for narrative reasons or due to the physical limitations of games/systems back then. Because I do know that the Golden Sun games were all supposed to be one game. but they physically could not fit them both on the same cartridge due to the limitations of the Game Boy Advanced, I believe. Ah, that makes sense. For it to be a story reason. Symbolism is not something the series is unwilling to use, I guess, in many ways. In fact, that's kind of the core aspect of the series. Oh, I see. Is it a good ending versus a bad ending type of scenario? With how the first one ends? And the second one continues? I can also Google it. If explaining it to me gets tiresome. I really want to get these done before I move on. Yes. There we are. Ah, well that tracks, yeah. Alright. Well, I'll look into it myself probably at some point, but thank you for sharing info on it. I've always been curious about those games, but I haven't really looked into them much. The first Persona 1 and 2, I mean. Ugh. This is my least favorite section of this level. Where's the last dirty part? Brr. Okay, well that was part of it. Where's the rest of it? Ah, thank you, finally. Ah! Okay. Yeah, the names of the games. That makes sense. I'll have to check out a playthrough sometime. Ah. Yeah, innocent sin to eternal punishment. Yeah. Well, you can't accuse Atlas of, They commit to the bit. all the games deal with, a lot of really hard issues that a lot of other games don't address in most media, so Atlas is an interesting company. They don't always tackle issues well, but unlike a lot of companies, at least they make an effort. So I can give them some kudos, though they're not off the hook for the mistakes. Yeah. I'll just clean what I can from down here right now. I don't want to bring in a ladder just yet. I like trying to see how much I can clean without the ladder, to be honest. Someone recently did a challenge of to see if they could beat, actually multiple folks have done this, to see if they can beat all levels in PowerWash Sim without using a ladder. And the answer is, I think the base game you can get most of them by doing some tricks, but a lot of the bigger houses you really do need the ladder. You can't really get around it. You at least need to use it to get up onto the roof. I think there's some bugs you can use to get around some of the stuff on some levels, but yeah, I don't know if it is possible to beat this game, the main campaign rather, without using the ladder at all. Yeah. Okay, so at least that wall is now clean. Well, actually, before I get started on this, let me finish up, like, the other side of the castle, I guess. I could have saved myself the running around by running around the opposite way, but no. What's this logic thing you speak of? So, I now work for a travel company. It's customer service work, my particular department. And sometimes, our demographic is all, like, retired folks with a lot of money. And so there's a lot of entitlement. For the most part, the calls are pretty chill. Most folks are pretty nice and excited about stuff. Some of it does lead to some hilarious tidbits, though. Like, one of the trips for our travelers is we have several African safaris, and most of them require short flights of like an hour or so in little puddle jumper planes that usually hold between, there's like, the smallest one holds like 6 people, and then there's one that holds like 10. And a lot of folks refrain from the safari out of anxiety about that in particular. But I got this one lady, but it's a requirement. There's no way to get around the bush without it. There is no other options. But sometimes you get folks who have more money than sense, or just simply do not understand the limitations in other countries. Because like, I didn't get this call, but my coworker did, about so basically a lady really didn't want to go on the puddle jumpers, and she was like, well, I don't want to do that, that's unsafe. I need you to give me the exact dates and times when those small flights were supposed to have occurred, so I can rent a limo instead. A limo. In the middle of the Serengeti. Like, I don't know who the person who took this call reacted, because I would have burst into laughter or just stunned silence. Because how out of touch can you possibly be to think that you're going to be able to get a limo service in the middle of the African safari, like in the middle of the African like bushlands? Like, wow, what planet do you live on, ma'am? I want to live there. It seems awesome. It's very far from reality. Oh man. Yeah, that was, hearing about that, I was just like, wow, we have some very special folks. I'm just like, every time I think about it again, I just get baffled all over again. Like, how utterly out of touch are you with reality? It's like all like old entitled white people. I'm like, do y'all not understand how well, they don't. A lot of them either came from money or worked like high level jobs for many years and saved up. So a lot of them just simply, a lot of people, I feel like rich people have bad taste and often have no sense of reality. And this job is kind of confirming my suspicions in that regard. It's very funny. So that was funny as hell. A limo. I would love to see them be able to manage that, because if they could manage that, good on them. They apparently have a superpower. Because, again, part of why we can't do this is there are not roads throughout a lot of that area. And even if there are roads, they're dirt ones. And these are like... oh. I'm not gonna belabor the point more, just to say I'm amazed. I truly am amazed. And I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of these kind of stories to share as my time with this company goes on, and I am simultaneously excited and worried about this fact. Okay, I'm just trying to think of the best way to tackle this, because mostly I was concerned about the outer wall, which I'm still missing. Part of it's still unclean, and I'm not sure exactly where. Let me get back up on that wall. Maybe if I look down, I'll be able to see some areas that I may have missed. You know, in addition to... ooh, was that it? Yay, I did it! Okay. Wait, no, I didn't want to come down just yet, but... Corbel. That's what's called a corbel, huh? I would never have known. If I don't clean you guys now, I will forget, and then I'll be swearing later on, going, what the hell is a corbel, and why is it not clean? I think I got them all now, though. Good. Okay. No. Ladder, let me go. Alright, well, I'll continue with the outer wall then. Now that I've gotten the castle area out of the way, or at least the outside of it. So in the main campaign of PowerWash Sim, every level has little kitty footprints in the dirt. It doesn't in this one since it's a side level and not part of the main campaign. but sometimes I still find myself looking out for the kitty paw prints. Hell, at this point I might even play through the entire normal campaign. Maybe I'll start doing that, because it'll take me a while to get through the main levels. Though less time than it would if I was starting from scratch, because I already have the best power washer for the job. It's a good thing our character doesn't have to worry about having a, real life issues like having a hose attached to your machine. Because can you imagine what a clusterfuck it would be to try to get around all of this with a hose attached to you? No, thank you. I know I said this before, but again, I would really love to go to a mini golf course like this in real life. There's a couple I've driven past before. And when I was a kid, we went to one. But I can't for the life of me remember what it looked like. Like, if it had a specific theme or it was just, like, random levels. Ha ha ha! Oh, look at this graffiti! I forgot about this graffiti. Ha! Is this fucking Trogdor almost? Not quite. They probably couldn't get the permissions. I love the graffiti. That's wicked cute. I could have sworn the graffiti on the wall used to be Trogdor, but maybe they got in trouble and had to take it off. I think that was before the game's official release, though. Because I've been playing this game since before it actually released, when it was still on early access. It's changed not a ton, but a handful of things have. Like, this is a relatively recent level, so it hasn't changed very much, but some of the original levels in the game had some noticeable changes. Like, they redid how the dirt works in the entire game, for one thing. How it looks and all that jazz. I do love the fact that they're still making new levels for the game, though. I don't know. I feel bad about having to clean off the graffiti. We sure we can't leave this for the kids? Sorry, Mr. Gnome. Bye. I am a little so, in most of these levels, the regular levels, I haven't seen it in the DLC levels, so I think they don't have them. But in all of these regular side levels in the main campaign, every level has a little gnome figurine, and they're a big part of like the iconography for this game. There's always a gnome somewhere, every level, and I think in at least one of the DLC levels I can think of for Tomb Raider, there's a gnome as well. I know where the one in this level is. He's up in the castle. Just chillin'. You gotta rescue him from his tower. You know, once we clean things. I think the Mars level has a cute little, alien gnome. They often tend to be themed to the level they're found in. It's just a really cute little level that or a cute little detail that I love. Ooh, that's right. I did order, these guys did I think the campaign is over now. But I think in the next couple of months I should receive, they did through Makeshift, whatever Makeshift, I believe. They made a PowerWasher plushie for this game. It's just a little dude. It's the base outfit. It's your little PowerWasher guy. So I look forward to it when I can have him. And then I also ordered there was another campaign. This YouTuber I watch called North of the Border, who makes tiny nerdy things out of clay and such, had a campaign that I got a buddy from. He's a little... Is his name Larry? I don't remember. I can't remember right now, but it was like one of his first works on the channel. Certainly, I think one of his first original works. A little octopus with a skull instead of a regular octopus head. A skulltopus! That has appeared in several sculptures. So, I have 2 new friends that are going to be coming to me at some point this year, depending on when Makeshift ships them out. No worries. Thank you for popping back in. Were you supposed to close a different day instead? Well, welcome back, Brian. I've just been babbling this entire time while cleaning this mini golf course. Oh, I wasn't... I appreciate that, Brian. But no, I was mostly just babbling about how English is a disaster language. Now, English is a disaster of a language because it's like three or four partial languages shoved into one trench coat fighting for dominance. Maybe it's more akin to, like, cats being locked together in a bag or something. I don't know. It's a bunch of stuff, and it's a bunch of angry dwarves in a burlap sack. You drank away most of your knowledge? That's fair. I think from what you've told me, I think you took all of the drinking that I never did in my 20s. I didn't drink at all, really. I can probably count on 2 hands the amount of times I drank enough to get drunk when I was still in my 20s. And then I turned 30 and discovered cannabis. Not that I use that a ton either. Although you'd be forgiven for thinking so from last week's stream. Where I was like falling asleep towards the end of that stream. Whoops. Sorry about that. That's the effect that anything weed related has on me, however. I'll get silly for a little while and chatty, and then I'll start falling asleep. It's kind of much the same effect alcohol has on me, really. But at least my default is to get cuddly and sleepy and not, you know, violent and or mean. I can count myself lucky for that. Remember, kids, everything in moderation. You are a very good mountain stoner. One of my very most favorites. One of my other most favorites is Jay. Jay might be disappointed that they missed all the Persona talk earlier. But we can have that conversation with them later. You've made a lot of progress, Brian, though, since moving up to moving to where you are now. And I'm proud of you. I wouldn't call that power. Well, what I mean is I'm giving you your due. I'm just saying you've made progress and you're doing your best, and I appreciate that. And I think you've made a lot of progress. Is that done? Okay. Maybe I should pop up there and get this done before I do anything else. I really hope they fix the dirt glitch soon, though. Because, I don't know if y'all noticed, but at the very start of the stream you could see dirt details up on the corner, top left corner, and now you can't. So, there's some kind of glitch. I thought it was only affecting DLC levels, but this is not a DLC level, so I'm guessing it's just a glitch in the game itself. So hopefully they fix it at some point, but it is a very, very minor thing, so it's not like it's the end of the world. I can at least guess that this is moss. I have eyes that are useful for guessing. There we are. Boop. This kind of makes me want to go back and watch the mini golf episodes with the Game Grumps, because they've got several games that they play golf in, especially that one mini golf game that I don't think they ever beat because it was it CDI? It was one of the really old ones and it was terrible, and it's like some of their most played clips because it drives Dan like nuts. Scattered shrubbery. I love how the people who call our PowerWash guy in this game, they always wait until the situation is like untenable. Like they always wait until everything is like ridiculously filthy before they call, which I guess makes sense. It's just very funny to me. It's like, yes, everything is like just apparently covered in charcoal. I think it would be a little less jarring if, like, everything around it, these levels wasn't like spick and span. But since it is, it's a little, it's just quite obvious, I guess. The dirt sticks out, but it also makes it incredibly satisfying to clean, so I'm not gonna complain. Oh. Yes, a coal deposit exploded under my house. Unless you're in that one town in Virginia that is constantly burning, that would be a neat trick. You know, the one that Silent Hill is based on. But I hope you guys are having a good night. Ma! Pyramid Head got bloody footprints on the floor again! Call Shera! Call the power washer! Power washer looks at things, looks at their employers, looks at the blood again, goes, well, that's beyond my pay grade, and cleans it up. Mr. Pyramid Head, how rude can you be? We have a doormat for a reason, sir. I don't care whether or not you use the door. It's only polite to clean up after yourself. Who raised you? Oh, you weren't raised? You just kind of came into being from the subconscious of a tortured soul? Well, regardless, have some standards. He did do something wrong. He didn't wipe his feet. You know, at least contain your mess to at least try to contain your mess to a smaller area, Mr. Pyramid Head. The idea of shaming Pyramid Head for making a mess is a great deal more amusing than, than it probably should be, but... God, I just... Yeah, no, I would totally, like... I'd be sitting there with, like, one hand on a hip and the other hand, like, with, like, wagging a finger at him. And I just picture him just like looking down at the ground all abashed. Like, young man! I expected better of you. I only just got the scratches in the floor buffed out from the last time you came by. You can't be dragging your blade like that. At least pick it up. If you still want to make the noise, we can find out a different option for you. But not the floors. We just got them waxed. Maybe that's what Silent Hill needs. An actual kind, like not evil mother figure. All these monsters out here misbehaving. They just need a kind hand. Maybe some cookies. Everybody gets you're not yourself. Eat a Snickers. I'll bake some snickerdoodles. Bring them with you. Ah, yes. Truly an excellent idea. Put his blade in the squeaky thingo. Also, does inspire fear and also irritation in your prey. Because when they first hear that, they're gonna mistake it for, just something with a squeaky wheel and go, what the heck, why isn't someone, oiled that? Just the itty-bittiest little cart. Yes, I love that idea. Just itty-bitty. It's like the size of, two of my hands or something. Just big enough. Just big enough for the tip of the blade. Pyramid Head, the killer that cares. Also, we're getting those nurses some massage. Some massages. They look awful stiff. Okay, this guy. Where is the last bit of dirt on this guy? Where are you? This is not a game of hide and seek, you will win. There we go. Okay. Then I guess this wall. I'm gonna... Yeah, no, see, those gals need some practical outfits. Can we please get them some real scrubs instead of those, crappy, dresses they can barely move around in? They deserve better. We gotta help these girls unionize. Remember, Mama Shera has a knife and she's not afraid to use it. No, not that knife. That's okay, Pyramid Head. You can put that away. We're still working on your cart. But I appreciate it. I love how I can be playing the most peaceful game, and now we're talking about fucking Silent Hill. You know, the girls need actual scrubs. Like, comfortable ones. Not like the shitty, like, mass production ones. Or at least we can get those. But we'll wash them until they're comfortable. And then maybe get them fitted so they're not as loose, so they're not as boxy. Everyone deserves to look cute and be comfortable in their uniforms. Yes, the murder care house for the wayward horror game NPC / enemy. Yeah, no, they deserve, a lot of them deserve better. Let's get these bitches into some therapy. Let's get some spa days going. Some manicures. Get y'all some nice fitted clothes. Now, Pyramid Head, sweetie, you can keep your butt out if that's what makes you feel nice. But we gotta get you a better apron, babe. That is not working for you. Yeah, no, yeah. Nemesis does deserve a mani-pedi. Let's get some sparkle on them digits. And some of those babes needed some cavities fixed ASAP. I'm sorry, honey, that your that your job didn't include dental. Let's get that straightened out for you. Though I gotta say, I don't think Mr. X needs help. I think he has a look and he's sticking to it. Oh, I can't skip this. Damn. Oh well. Okay, so that's clean. So, oh, there it is. No, okay. Yeah, yes. Next time you see him in game, he got the big old Sholanda nails, and he looking so proud. See, he just needs a little pampering. I feel like a lot of these villains would be a lot less angry if they just got a little them time, you know? Being on the job all day every day is gonna take it out of anyone. Treat yourself to a nice spa day today at the Horror Game Hideaway. Take a break from your responsibilities as a henchman of the main enemy and get your nails did. You'll thank yourself later. And hey, you'll leave a much nicer corpse. Okay, so there's that wall. And I think I'll do the inside of this. And by inside, I just mean this and these guys. And then I'll do the floors and do the floors going down. I guess. It's not like I'm really being organized here. Just trying to do stuff in a vaguely satisfying way. It's not like there's rules on how to clean stuff in this game. That's the whole point. There we are. Oh my, we have summoned the bun. Hi, Bun. Thank you for popping in. We're talking about how these all these poor horror movie beings need some pampering. Hi, welcome to Queer Eye for the Nightmare Guy. Today we're gonna bring Nemesis. We're gonna be helping Nemesis spruce up his wardrobe and help him embrace his inner fashionista. Okay, Brian. Feel free to. I know you were. Have fun in Pal World. I've still got to boot that up again. I haven't played it since the night it came out. Aw, Bun, did you eat supper yet? If not, please at least get a snack. You deserve a nom. I can understand why, Brian. It seems like a fun little game. Well, the fact that so much AI was apparently used in it upsets me, but it does seem like a fun game. Yes, good. Snacks are good. I made myself a grilled cheese sandwich earlier, and that was nice. I gotta make some more banana bread cookies this weekend, though, because I have a couple of nanners that need to get used up. And also, my roommates actually like those, and they disappear pretty quickly, which is a very rewarding feeling. I like cooking for others. The snickerdoodles also vanish pretty quickly, but not quite as quickly. Yeah, the recipe I found online for the banana bread, well, the banana cookies are nice, and then I usually add like flax to it to give it a little bit more fiber, and a little brown sugar instead of white. I'm sorry, Bun. If I could cook up a will to live, I'd probably be a be a 5-star chef. Not working at a travel agency. Sorry, my dear. You're gonna have to summon one for yourself. I send hugs. I would constantly be selling a will to live. I feel like they should be pancakes. I feel like a will to live should be pancakes. Because let's be real, there are some times where some nice pancakes can kind of give you, at least temporarily, a will to live. Yeah, that's a culinarian power in Final Fantasy XIV. Will to live. You scarf it down, and if you're at 1 HP, you can. It's like that one move in Pokemon, where if you get hit, even if you're at 1 HP, you don't go down. Temporary buff. No, actually, before I even ever played FF14, I actually made some of the food from it because Kit was playing it, and someone on the internet had started doing a blog about making all the recipes from it, and that's actually how I got interested. I got interested in Final Fantasy XIV, in at least in part due to the Lalafels. I chose a Lalafell because Kit hated them, and I started playing the game because of the culinarian thing. The timed harvest things in 14 are so tiresome. It's like, no, please, I have a life. I don't want to get on at certain times of day or wait for like several hours in real life time to harvest things, please. That said, you can make bank in game if you have that level of patience and time. I don't anymore, but, you know, kudos to the folks who do. Will to live is a buff that you get from hugging Tataru. Yeah, I wish I had that type of spare time as well. Maybe someday. I used to when I still worked for my previous company. Because sometimes, like, I would be able to log on to 14 during work hours when it was wicked slow. That was super rare though, and I stopped doing it pretty quickly because I didn't want to get in trouble. That was when I was working from home. At the start of the pandemic specifically, I think. Today, so I have a 3-day weekend this week, and it's probably going to be the only one I'm getting for like 5 months. So I need to tomorrow I need to actually get some work done on my room. And I say that, but it's not going to actually be that bad. I just got to clean up some stuff and take out the trash.
Never scoop again with Litter Robot.
No.
The highest rated
No.
self-cleaning litter box.
No.
that removes the twerps.
Skip. Thank you. That would be nice. Estinia and Alphino should not be given access to the coffers. They don't know how money works. Which is hilarious, because, like, Alphino doesn't get how money works because he's a little baby rich boy and always has been. Estinian doesn't know how it works because he's never had money. He's like always been living in the barracks, basically, because he was poor, and then he was raised by somebody else, and then all of his everything came from like the army / the barracks. So like he never really paid for anything on his own, so he has no understanding of money. Do not let them. No, just don't. Stola, I would really love to have a cup of tea with Stola. No, it's like, kids, please talk to Tataru or someone or anyone really before making any financial decisions, boys. You would think they were related. Then again, 99.9% of the scions are all, like, light-skinned, like, silver or blonde-haired folks. Especially because they stole all of Y'shtola's melanin. I think a banana does actually cost... well... depends on what type of banana. Some of those, I feel like, actually I don't remember. I feel like there's a type of banana that you have to harvest from one of those ethereal nodes. And therefore is a pain in the ass. What could a banana cost? 10k gil? Yeah, they have no understanding of anything. And actually, it's the problem with fantasy money like Gil is it's difficult to tell what that actually translates to in dollars. Because it definitely, it varies game to game, and sometimes within the same game it's not consistent. Or there isn't, like, something we can compare real life to. Like the, what's it called? The Big Mac principle? Like a Big Mac, the McDonald's thing, like a Big Mac costs X amount. And it's like a real, money theory. Like, how many Big Macs can you buy in 1 hour's worth of salary? Or something like that? I don't remember. I mean, I'm guessing it's yen, at least in Final Fantasy XIV, because it seems like it's certainly not equivalent to, like, $1. Like, a gil is not $1. I don't think. So clearly we just need to find what the equivalent of a Big Mac costs in FF14 and determine it that way. Or actually we would need to know how much we would need to ask how much do workers work, how much do workers earn in an hourly wage. I think we would need both of those pieces of info to figure out something like that. Yeah, Rip and Pip, bud. Sorry. Unless you're a gatherer as well, and even if you are a gatherer as well, the culinarian, any crafting career in FF14, and actually any MMO, is going to cost you a lot of in-game money. I played WoW briefly, and getting the ingredients for cooking in that game was also pretty costly. I know. But, the housing market in 14 as bad, if not worse, than real life. It's like, come on. You guys couldn't have given us a break. We already have to deal with a housing market crisis in real life. It is brutal. For individuals who can get a house, kudos. Because it's hard enough for, like, free companies and stuff to get houses. Having the freedom to decorate is nice, though. At this point, I'm not sure how or if we can improve on the free company house for us on Hyperion. But I think I'm pretty happy with what we've all accomplished together. I do agree that there should really only be one house per account. Like, come on. There's not very many houses or slots available in this game. I think the most someone should be able to have is, like, a house, and then maybe contribute towards the free company house. Because that doesn't really belong to any one person. I haven't had to deal with the lottery stuff yet. Thank Christ. Because I remember back when we got the Night Milk house, and it was... Man, we had to fight for that. God, I remember... I think we had to get up at, like... It was like me and some other members. We were up at like 6 a.m. to try to get the free company house, and we eventually managed it. I get why they did the lottery thing. It's to try to do some semblance of fairness. It's just a messy situation. Ooh, I forgot. One of my coworkers is making lasagna this weekend and said she's gonna bring in some for us on Tuesday. So that'll be nice. Yeah, staying up that late, having to stay up for game stuff is... I've done it before, but there's always a certain amount of regret. It's like, oh, I could have been sleeping. Especially with something like when you have a full-time job or something. Okay, so there's that. Yeah! Making real progress. I forgot about this wall, though. Look at the main wall, and then I'll come back for the targets since they're separate objects. I haven't had lasagna in ages. I'm gonna make some crab salad rice balls this weekend for work. And I'm also gonna make some breakfast burritos, and I'm thinking I'm probably gonna freeze most of them. Because I can just bring those to work frozen and heat them up. There we go. So I don't particularly like slasher films or that like species of horror movie. But I've been watching The Kill Count by... I think the name of the channel is Dead Meat. You can usually find him by, like, Kill Count on the YouTubes. Anyway, I've been watching those movies, or those videos about those movies. And wow, I'd forgotten how dumb some of the early slasher films were. Specifically, he started the series talking about Friday the 13th, and I'm just like, wow. This is... I guess I understand why folks like them, but at the same time, I'd never really enjoyed them. But, you know, each to their own. I do know the horror community is full of folks that are a lot more cheerful than you would think. Mostly because most of the actors have a really fun time. And they love meeting most of them love meeting their fans. So that's pretty cool. They're so campy. Like, I was specifically watching the videos on, like, the original Friday the 13th movies. And holy shit, that acting. Oh my god, holy shit. It was so bad, it was good. Like, wow. But then again, I guess that's not just a horror movie thing. That's also like well, it is actually strongly partly a horror movie thing, but like acting, our standards for what is good and bad acting tend to change depending on what decade you're in. And yeah, any old films are going to be somewhat cringe in comparison. Simply because our standards and our tastes for acting have changed pretty thoroughly. That said, those movies are so incredibly campy and amazing. There was apparently a reboot of Friday the 13th in 2009, and the video about that one, some of the footage it showed and stuff, that was legitimately upsetting. Because it wasn't really campy. it was like Jason taken seriously. And that was fucking scary, I gotta say. The airplane movies? I'm not sure I've seen them. Or heard of them much. Maybe I have, but I'm just not thinking of it right this moment. Yeah, I think I prefer campy horror or slasher to anything that's serious, because the serious stuff just, stuff that's serious and realistic just freaks me out. Oh, and then they went serious after 2001? Ooh. I mean, that sounds about right. Even in one of the Friday the 13th movies, one of the ones in the early 2000s, they used the F swear towards gay folks. Completely, like, I don't know if it was meant to be ironic or what, but they used it pretty legitimately, and I was just like, oh, Jesus. The past is a different country. Not much. I started talking about, I was watching the kill count videos on YouTube by, I think, Dead Meat is the name of the channel, and I just got through watching all the videos about the Friday the 13th movies. We were talking about that a little bit, like how, like, the campy stuff upsets me, but not because I know it's so fake and it's so silly and over the top, so it's not as bad. But, yeah. Yeah, Bun summarized it pretty well. Campy horror movies, movies that don't pass the vibe check anymore, and Friday the 13th. But they remade Friday the 13th in 2009, and that movie is realistic. And because it's a realistic version of Jason, like, not zombie Jason, like a live Jason, who just happens to be like a survivalist, sadist murderer, like, that actually freaked me out. It's a version of Jason that actually is a regular human and runs, instead of like the supernatural, campy, over-the-top aspects. I also watched the videos about the Evil Dead series, which, that first movie is actually deeply upsetting. It is campy, especially because it had such a low budget. It was, filmed pretty far back in the day, and, special effects and everything was kind of wacky. But that movie, the first movie, was legitimately upsetting, because it was taken relatively seriously. But then for the rest of the films, they were all, like, intentionally over-the-top campy. I just don't like the Evil Dead series. Well, the Evil Dead series and slashers in general upset me, because there's too many innocent folks that end up dying, and it upsets me. That's just why that's why I don't like horror movies in general. Ah. One of your future husbands? Oh, I see. You've got your eyes set on a harem, huh, Brian? Yeah, that's fair. James is, I think his name is James? He's a handsome gentleman. I get it. He is very much a handsome gentleman, I understand, and yeah, I guess it tracks that he's your type. These are so cute. Did I get this one? No, I've got a little bit more on this. Where is it? There we go. Alright. Alright, so I'll do this floor around the dragon. And then I'll go back to the very start and start doing all of these smaller elements. And then we'll be done with this. So I didn't realize the "this is my boomstick" line actually came from the fucking Evil Dead series. The Army of Darkness. Yeah, I don't watch horror myself anymore. The closest I get is watching the kill count now. The actual movies upset me too much. But watching about them, it's the same way I have to deal with certain web series horror. Like, I can't directly watch, what's it called? The Mandela Effect. Or the Mandela Archives, rather. They fuck with my brain too much. But I love watching videos about it, like, Wendigoon. I like learning about these things, about how they're made and, you know, the tropes that are used and all the other interesting info. I just can't watch them directly because they upset me too much. Yeah, no, I can't watch the Mandela Effect directly. I start... When I was a kid, I had a problem with derealization. Like, I would stop thinking that I was real or other stuff was real around me. Not sure whether that was a potentially autism thing or just me psyching myself out. But that, Mandela Archives brings that back a little bit, so I try not to interact with it too much or do it in a limited way. Yeah, it freaks me the hell out, but it is pretty masterfully done, I gotta say. It's very impressive, especially considering the fact that the creator of the Mandela Archives, or, Mandela Catalog, I keep saying archives, sorry. The catalog, like, I think the guy was like 18 when he started making those, and he started making them on his phone? Like, yo, that kid's gonna go places. He's really the one of the big faces of that sort of branch of horror. I think part of my problem with the Mandela Catalog, for watching it myself, my entire life I've sleepwalked and had parasomnias, like those where your brain and body react strangely, like just before and after sleep, and sometimes during sleep. Like, I get quite a lot, growing up and even now I get quite a lot of sleep paralysis, and sleepwalking, sleep talking, periods of time just after waking or in between waking, where, like, I can't discern reality. And, like, it lasts a long time, or at least it feels like it does. And that's, yeah, the psychological horror, yeah. Yeah, that, because I have such a trouble with that, that's why stuff like the Mandela Catalog and other sort of surrealist stuff freaks me out, because it's the same vibes. It's incredibly well done. I can't interact with it directly, because it's not a trigger. Like, not a trigger as in the way we think of triggers, but encountering it, interacting with that media, heightens the possibility that the following night or the following week, I'll have a sleep paralysis event. so I try to avoid it. Like, even after watching Wendigoon's videos about it, I had a bad couple of nights that following week. But somewhat worth it. I like learning about stuff. It 2? In theaters? No, I don't think you mentioned that. What happened, if you don't mind me asking? When it comes to it, like, I really didn't like horror movies even as a child, and, but after I read the actual book, which contains underage child sex, the book It by Stephen King, I just don't interact with any media about that anymore. I actually stopped reading Stephen King altogether for a couple of years after I read the book, because I was like, yay, child porn. But, well, it was one of his earlier novels, and I still read his stuff now, but I never forget it. I mean, Tim Curry's a legend in many of his performances, and his performance in the original It was certainly something. Yeah. Oh no. Kudos to you for getting through it, but it sounds like you had a bit of a bad time. I mean, kudos to you for actually getting through it, I gotta say. I don't know, like, there's a reason I don't watch horror movies in general, let alone in theaters. My ass would have been out there. I don't care about the ticket price. I would have been fucking out of there. I would agree. Some of the art folks can do with horror in general, and like surreal stuff, and it's psychological horror, it's absolutely incredible. What was it that oh yeah, I watched a bunch of Wendigoon stuff within the last couple months, and did you see his video, or a video, about the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park? Whoever came, like the creator of that series, because it's not a video or anything. He has a video about it, but it's a website with like stuff like old brochures and info about like an old national park that was like fucking Lovecraftian horror. It's truly fascinating. I would agree. There's some folks that are incredibly good at capturing, like, folks. I have a lot of respect for folks that can do horror art in a way to make you really feel the dread and just not just like see something like the gore, but like have it be realistic and have the vibes match. That would be interesting. As a Cenobite? Huh. I've been trying to draw some more. Especially now that I have the office job again. I, you know, have a desk to draw at. I kind of fell out of drawing since I started working from home because I, you know, not at a desk. So the opportunity to draw it, like on paper, was not present.
Relax. Now you can
No, Hideo Kojima, truly, truly excellent at what he does.
The pickleballer, the jazz fan, the pasta lover, or the Zen seeker.
Oh wait, no, wait.
Don't panic.
Nope, nope. Horror as a genre is a fascinating subject. Like, it resonates with different people for different reasons. And some of the stuff that comes out of it is truly incredible and thought-provoking. And some of it is also incredibly silly. And I love that. I love the genre for that fact alone. Because often when stuff falls flat, it's very funny. Slaughterhouse? Can't say I'm familiar with that, actually. See, I grew up watching a lot of these films, not directly because I didn't want to watch them, but because Dad would be watching them in the living room. So like, I would wake up in the middle of the night, and because I didn't want to be alone, and Dad would be in the living room watching Tales from the Crypt. So I would end up watching Tales from the Crypt with Dad just because I didn't want to go back to bed. Oh man, yeah, a psychological horror like Silent Hill would be an incredible campaign for a role-playing game. It really would. Aw, that sounds fun, Brian. Horror that's funny on purpose is honestly rather delightful. Maybe partially? I don't think I've talked to y'all much about the campaigns you might be running or working on in a while. Now that sounds rather delightful. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, shenanigans would lead itself well to a horror campaign. It's very flexible. I mean, to be fair, the campaign where I introduced Scott to the Dreaming campaign when we were playing all that together, that was shenanigans. Oh, I love that! Fluffy Indiana Jones! I love that! That sounds delightful. Another BioShock campaign, though, Bun? That would be cool. But would you be thinking doing it in the, like, the underwater BioShocks? Like the like the campaign you did prior? Would you be thinking something along more the lines of Infinite? Taft is such a good name, by the way, Brian. I love that. It's an excellent name for a character. Might as well do these while I'm over here. Well, Jay is a gifted storyteller and a very good DM. So I'm glad you're having a good time in that campaign. Infinite and Rapture? That sounds interesting. I gotta watch a playthrough of Bioshock again, actually. It's been a couple years. And I know the studio's making another game. Aww. Well, Jay only keeps getting better as a DM. So I can imagine. I'm glad you're having fun with the campaign. Hopefully we'll all get to play another one together sometime soon. We should all play Golf It together, or sorry, not golf. I don't think we have Golf It. Golf with your friends again sometime soon. I think most of us have it, right? So you can pick up and move these golf balls. BT dubs. I experimented a few times to try to see if I could get some hidden, like, achievements or something by putting a ball into every flag, into every hole, and then putting them all into the golf ball bucket at the end. But that didn't do anything. Oh well. It was a fun little experiment regardless. My first fight was Abomination Creatures. Oh no. That's not a fun situation for those characters to be in. Or for your character to be in. Oh no! Your first fight? Oh dear. Well, that's one way to introduce you to the campaign. I think you're gonna have a great time. You might also die. That's also a thing that's probably gonna happen. I hope there's a revival system in place. Or that you have a spare character ready. Oh. That's what was flashing. Wait, I saw something. I just saw something. Where'd it go? Ah, crud. spider muffins. Oh well. But there's this border. Somewhere on this border, there's a little speck of dirt that I have yet to clean. That sounds like... Excuse me, sorry. Sorry. But yeah, that sounds awesome.
No one can. We got rid of cable internet. Rising prices equip.
See, my rolls when I'm playing these kind of games are almost always terrible. Bun can attest to that. When I'm playing games with others, I usually roll pretty poorly. And have to be... That's part of why I always play, like, a punchy person. Because I don't trust the game to not, basically murder me if I'm a spellcaster. No, that one time that my character in the dreaming fumbled a lock to get into, you know, a house and got low-key mocked for it the rest of the game. That was, you know, it was fine. Yeah, personality. That's, yeah. That's a way of describing it. Well, I love hearing about folks' campaigns. I gotta say, they're a lot of fun. I miss doing those games because they were some of the best, like, just interactive storytelling and collaborative storytelling. At the same time, it is, at least for me, a really draining activity. Not even, like, doing it with anyone. Not specifically Jay. Like, those kind of games in general tucker me out. But it's worth it. I remember one, I think it was a game for, not The Dreaming, but for Lost Kingdoms. I remember I came late to one of those games and I was so exhausted because I had accidentally gotten, not heat stroke, but I think I had heat exhaustion. You roll not one an agility check. I fall, but my big toe catches on the rock and gets rid of a hangnail. Okay, so when we were playing the first version of Lost Kingdoms with Jay back in college, my character at the time, I had even worse rolls. It was legitimately, I kid you not, it was usually nat 1s or like a super high roll or nat 20s. There wasn't all that much in between. And I just remember this one, like, and this was within, like, a couple of rounds of each other. I did a nat 1, and my character was wielding a scythe, and I stabbed myself and got injured by accident. But then I seem to remember, I don't think it was the same battle, but I think it was the same session. I also nat 20'd and fucking chopped a Warforged in half. So it's like, it was all or nothing with that character. That poor bean. She did her best. Yeah, I think for that particular campaign where we're going a little closer to the original, I don't remember if it was D&D. Oh, I don't remember which version it was, but we were going, I think we had a chart of possible results of Nat 1 failures that we were at least partially going off of for that one. That was Baby's first D&D campaign, at least for me. Guest got a 9, a nat 1, and a nat 20, and a nat 1. Rip in Pip, that poor guest. But at least I got to hang out for the rest of the... hang out and I guess watch for the rest of the thing. Poor dude. Or poor person, rather. We are almost done with this, my dudes. I think after this I might do one of the shorter levels, and then be done for the night. I think I misremembered how long this level would take. It is a pretty hefty little level. Oh, please do. I would love to see that. Like, equal parts, like, exasperation, but also amusement and confusion. I would feel so bad if I got killed off that quick. But maybe getting them killed off quick was slightly part of the plan. I don't know. To be honest, I haven't watched much of Crit Role yet. I keep meaning to. I actually haven't even finished the Adventure Zone, like the original campaign. I've been spoiled for everything already, which is part of why I haven't finished it. But, sometimes I just... With longer episodes, sometimes I have trouble keeping attention. ADD, baby! Yeah, we're being good. We're just chilling. We're talking about horror movies for a bit. Hello, Kit. I hope your night's going well. There we go. Alright. Oh, the original Star Wars? Like, I assume A New Hope? You know what? I haven't watched the original Star Wars in a long time either. It's always good to go back and watch things. Especially if you're a writer, interacting with the original on a regular basis is pretty crucial to maintaining accurate, you know, in-character stuff. Which I think a lot of various fandoms tend to forget to do. It's a mental reset. Maybe, it would be nice. Empire Strikes Back was my favorite for a while because I had the novelization version of it, and so I used to read that a lot. Because we didn't have many books in the house, and I would read every book we had in the house a billion times, and that was one of them. My town library had a surprising amount of Star Trek and Star Wars books for such a small library. I mean, none of the Star Wars books that I read back then are canon anymore, but I still enjoyed them. Oh wait, is that one clean? Yes, okay. So, some folks in the chat know this, but Star Wars is one of my hyperfixations. I got sort of back into it for a time period, actually it's been a couple years now. I thought it was going to be a temporary dip back into the fandom. How wrong I was. Most of the fanfiction, well, I'd say at least half the fanfiction I read nowadays is Star Wars. It's usually time travel fix-its. Because the actual canon of Star Wars is so fucking upsetting. How did I miss? Alright. Thanks, brain. You totally worked correctly. There we go. Oh, sorry, I think I just brushed against my mic. Sorry about that. I didn't even realize that over there was a problem. Whoop. Once I finish these main things, there's probably going to be a bunch of little things that I missed along the way, but I can safely say that I attempted to clean everything the first time around, and therefore no one can judge me. Man, some of the old Star Wars books were pretty nuts, though. Did any of y'all ever read the young Obi-Wan books when he was still, like, when he was growing up as an apprentice to Qui-Gon Jinn? Because that version of Qui-Gon Jinn was a fucking asshole. Like, so in the books. And to be honest, part of the reason that Qui-Gon comes off so poorly is because this was written for kids, so you have to have the authority figures being incompetent, you know, to make it interesting for the kids. Otherwise, they're gonna get bored if the main character doesn't have to do much. So basically, like, Qui-Gon's entire thing with Obi-Wan is very fraught at the start of their relationship. Because, like, Yoda arranges it because Yoda wants Qui-Gon to take Obi-Wan as his apprentice really early on. But, the Padawan of Qui-Gon before then, his name was Xanatos, and he fell to the dark side. He wasn't a Sith, but he was a Darksider. And so Qui-Gon's like, nope, I'm never training anyone ever again. And he, like, even, basically disowned, the Padawan that he had before that, who was a grown-ass man and a master. In his own right, he was like, nope, I never trained you. Like, I have no interactions with anybody. I never trained anybody. I'm never training anyone again. So he kind of comes off as a jackwagon. So, like, Yoda really wants him to take Obi-Wan, because he really wants Obi-Wan as his apprentice, in his lineage. But Yoda doesn't want to take him himself, so what Yoda does instead, like a fucking frog that meddles instead of taking care of things, is Yoda arranges it so that Obi-Wan gets sent away from the Jedi early. A whole thing in the series is that when you turn 19, you either have to get taken in by a Jedi Master as a Padawan, or you get sent away to the Agra Corps. Now, the Jedi Corps are a fascinating concept in the series that really doesn't get touched on anywhere else in canon, and I wish it did because it's so fucking interesting. So there's the Agra Corps, the Service Corps, the Edu Corps, the Explorer Corps. They're all different groups of Jedi that aren't knights, but they're still trained Jedi. And they run around the galaxy doing various things. Like the Agra Corps goes to planets that are having trouble growing crops or maintaining their environment, and helps them learn how to fix their environment and grow crops. And they do a lot of research, and it's really interesting. And like the Edu Corps, sets up schools and educates people. The Explorer Corps has pilots that fly everywhere in the galaxy to look for stuff, and even into the wild space, beyond where the borders of the Republic are, and the Outer Rim and everything. So these are fascinating concepts that never get touched on again. Like they never get touched on in canon in the movies. You never hear about because if they did, well, you would have, I know why they never got touched on in the movies, because there are there are huge, hundreds, thousands of Jedi that are running around that aren't part of the main temple, and so weren't slaughtered when the rest of the Jedi were. They couldn't have that happen, so they just retconned them so they never existed. So it makes sense, but at the same time, it's such a fun fucking concept. Hundreds and thousands of Jedi running around helping the galaxy the way they're supposed to. I think that's cool as shit. But anyway, Obi-Wan gets sent away, not because he actually is supposed to be sent away, but because Yoda got his planning hat on, because he's a little asshole gremlin. So basically, Qui-Gon's refusing to take Obi-Wan. So Yoda puts them both on the same transport, tells Obi-Wan basically that he's flunked out of being a Jedi Knight, and has to go join the Agra Corps instead. And, sends both him and Qui-Gon out on the same transport. That gets attacked by, pirates, because of course it does, because Star Wars. And, there's a hut that's a jackwagon that they have to get rid of. And there's slavery because it's, Star Wars. And, so long story short, the entire first section of Obi-Wan's apprenticeship is very fraught. because Qui-Gon doesn't even agree to take Obi-Wan on as a Padawan until, because he at this point in his life, Obi-Wan is a 12-year-old kid, so he's kind of impulsive and stuff. And Qui-Gon's like, oh, well, so is my previous apprentice, so you're just gonna fall to the dark side just like him, so no thank you, bye. And then Obi-Wan actually gets enslaved at the planet he's supposed to be in the Agricor at, because it has a mine, and Xanatos, who is Qui-Gon's old apprentice, is running the mine, and he kidnaps Obi-Wan and puts him in the deep sea mines. So eventually they all meet up again. Xanatos escapes. Obi-Wan offers to literally blow himself up with his slave collar so Qui-Gon and the rest of the people can escape. So apparently that's what makes Qui-Gon go, okay, you can be my Padawan now. So that never really gets addressed. Like, Obi never gets any therapy or anything. And then, less than a year later, when around the same time that Obi-Wan turns 13, they go to this planet called Melita/Dawn, which has been at war with itself between the Melita people and the Dawn people for centuries. So there was another Jedi sent before them, who was basically Qui-Gon's girlfriend, to try to fix the situation, but she gets kidnapped and tortured by one of the sides. So Qui-Gon rescues her. He's preoccupied with her. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan meets a group of kids who call themselves the Young and are fighting against both sides in the conflict to make them stop fighting. Which, of course, makes both sides of adult people go, okay, our kids are fighting against us, so let's just team up and literally kill our children. So Obi-Wan, being a decent human being, is like, can we please fix this? Can the Jedi in the Republic please fix this? Like, they're literally killing their kids. And Qui-Gon is like, nah. The fact that you're standing up to me means you're just like Xanatos. So, if you want to stay here, I'm gonna literally leave you on this war-torn planet without your lightsaber or any support. And so Obi-Wan goes, I literally, there are children being slaughtered. I can't leave here and not help them. So Qui-Gon goes, okay, well, bye, and leaves him on the planet for several months. So literally, Obi-Wan gets left on this war-torn planet for months trying to broker peace, fighting with the Young, and he's 13 years old. He's one of the oldest kids. Like, the rest of the children are like 5 and maybe 10 at most. Like, one of the other he steps up and is one of the leaders. Like, one of the other leaders gets killed in front of him, and basically he ends up having to call the Jedi and the Republic for help to resolve things. Because, like, the thing is, he succeeded. He brokered a peace treaty, and then one of the Young, was so angry and bitter and was like, no. Like, these people, we need to kill them all. Like, they don't deserve to live. The adults. And so that kid plants a bomb that restarts the war. And kills one of the leaders of the kids. So Obi-Wan is at that point forced to call back the Jedi. And he's like on probation for like an entire year, and Qui-Gon refuses to take him back as an apprentice. For that entire year. And of course, Obi-Wan still doesn't get any therapy. He's still treated like crap by other people in the temple. And at some point during that year, Xanatos, gets close, sneaks into the temple, makes friends with one of Obi-Wan's bullies, gets access to the temple, plants some bombs, almost kills several of Obi-Wan's friends. Obi-Wan watches his bully, fall to the dark side and then die. Xanatos, I think, blows himself up. And throughout none of these children ever get any therapy or any support. So it's just like, goddamn. Obi-Wan Kenobi has the worst luck. I don't know how much of any of that is canon anymore, because those books were in the 90s and early 2000s. I think a little after the Phantom Menace was released. But I'm just like, wow, Obi-Wan, your life fucking sucks, kiddo. Sorry. And then he grows up to be such a miserable kid. And then the part of the problem is he's also like really closely attuned to the cosmic force, which is the version of the force that like gives you visions and shit of the future. So like he has, even as a little kid, he has visions of, you know, the actual future. Everyone dying, like all the Jedi being wiped out, the war. And Qui-Gon and everyone else is like, well, you know, those visions don't really mean much of anything. Ignore those and focus on the living force instead, which is like plants and stuff. So like he's being warned about like future events, and like the rest of the Jedi are like, nah, don't worry about it, it's fine. You know, don't listen to those, because if you listen to those and do something about it, it's just gonna make it come true anyway. Like the bad things come true. So, yeah, I guess that's my spiel mostly over about what a crap sack life Obi-Wan Kenobi has, at least in those books. That poor motherfucker. He deserved better. And then fucking he finally managed to get a good relationship with Qui-Gon. Not all that long before Qui-Gon dies in The Phantom Menace. Oh yeah, and that one time when he was like 17, when they were on Mandalore trying to broker peace, and then Obi-Wan had to go on the run with Satine Kryze, who was the leader of, well, the daughter of the leader of Mandalore at that point, and almost left the Jedi out of love for her, and then she gets killed in the Clone Wars show. She dies in his arms, and she's killed by Maul, the same way that Maul killed Qui-Gon, because Maul does not die in The Phantom Menace. He gets cut in half, but that fucker comes back because he's a cockroach. Motherfucker unlimited. So he kills like two of the people that were the most important to Obi-Wan. Because Obi-Wan can't have nice things. We've already established this. Like, one of the lines from the series is literally that Qui-Gon, or not Qui-Gon, but Obi-Wan will have, like, eternal, like, endless sadness, eternal sadness or something. And I'm just like, God, that's harsh. That poor kid. Does that go all the way down? It must have, right? But I don't see it in here. Okay, well, sorry for yelling at y'all for... oh wait, I didn't clean you. Sorry for babbling at y'all for like half an hour about Star Wars books that are no longer canon. This is just the kind of person I am. This is why you can't get me started with Star Wars, y'all. I know too much. And so much of it's fucking useless. I am full of worthless trivia. Now you've got Sonic, Kit. I have Star Wars. I know some of the most useless shit. And now poor Obi-Wan, he had such a bad time. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm pretty sure most folks have something they're super interested in and passionate about. Okay. Yeah, I think my two, at least at right now, are Kingdom Hearts and Star Wars. Where the shit is the wall that... the castle wall that is supposedly... Doherty? Where it be? I clicked it, so it should be flashing at me. Oh, internal walls. These guys? No, that's the parapet walls. There! Is it you? Yes, it's one of you. Haha! Aww. That's pretty neat. Let's see. Ninth hole moat, so that means... this... oh, the border. I feel like people who had internet growing up had a different childhood than I had in a lot of ways. I did not have the internet or channels growing up for the most part, so I feel like my experience of a lot of stuff was a little different. Oh, that sounds really neat. Maybe someone will remember that that existed and will eventually make some version of it, because it sounds like a lot of fun. Okay. So something along here is still Doherty. Let me up! Thank you. Ah, 'twas you. Fence posts. Ah! Over here somewhere. I assume. Ah! Oh, that's really neat, though, that your mom was... Nah, my parental units, they do their best and they are learning, but, like, they've never used a computer. I mean, Mama does now to clock in for work, but it's the work computer, you know? Oh, the Jungle Book! Aww, I remember hearing about those. I never got to play them, but I always wanted to, because I saw the ads for them before the other Disney movies on VHS. Fuck, I wanted the Dalmatians game so bad. But of course we didn't have a computer. That was fun. Verily, thou art a knight of the highest order, and your slay of lance art of singular renown. Thinketh indeed for your bravery, which hath driven away this cursed beast of burden, and reclaimed our mighty land. Nope, can't do any more of that. Thanks, mate. Sure they'll be well happy with the state of the place now. Okay. The rest of these are kind of long, is the problem. I can probably do the rover. Hey, Wishy, sorry to message you so late at night, but how are you set for tomorrow? You remember my friend Marcia, the total space cadet? She's got an urgent need for a power washer. Couple of disclaimers. One, she's way out of town, but said she'll pay your expenses as long as they're not too astronomical. And two, it has to be tomorrow. I just thought doing an odd job somewhere alien might help your business take off. I'll text you the details when I get them in the morning, and you can see how it lands. Until then, you can always dream of what could be. How many fucking puns are gonna be in there? Harper Shaw is one of the characters we meet in the main campaign. This was the first optional job that wasn't on the main game. But yeah, it's the Mars rover. And before I do that, I'm gonna go do the hatch over here. Interesting footprints. And a very special little man's. You stay over there. I gotta clean. Look at these floppy little Pete's. I love it. Let's see. One set goes over here. Okay, so they just circle. Alrighty. And of course you've got a drone. Hey, buddy! Buddy! Where you going? Hey! 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 Anyway. This one has a lot of fiddly little parts, but I don't remember it taking too long. And of course, we've got the, you know, red/orange Mars dust. How I'm getting this much water on Mars? It's a mystery. And before Kit makes a Doctor Who joke. Red Planet. That sounds so familiar. It's honestly, I probably saw at least part of that with Dad growing up. We rented a lot of movies growing up. From the video store. And how dated does that make me sound? That sounds vaguely familiar. This might honestly be something I've seen before. Okay, wheel hub is done. Tire's done. This... Yeah! This one's just... Where is he? This one's just doing him job. He's just looking. Keeping an eye out. Yeah, he's just a little dusty. He's good. Everything's fine. Oh shit, did you notice that? The gravity is slightly lower here. That's a fun little detail. One small step for my It's not a huge difference, and I understand why, because it would take, well, they'd have to redo the physics engine for the game a little bit, I think, and a single level isn't really worth that, especially since I don't think they make any. This is the only level so far that we're in space, but still. Oh, I think they're making. I don't know when it's gonna come out, but I think I remember them talking about making a Warhammer DLC or something. I don't know. I'll have to look that up, because if so, I mean that's it. I mean technically that's space. I'm so curious about Warhammer stuff, but like, there's so much of it. It's complex, and it's a lot to try to get into. I don't even really know where to go looking for lore. The most I know from it is from the Russian Badgers videos, to be honest. As a result, I know about the Space Marines. I gotta say, I love the... Are they called trolls? Or orcs? No, it's the orcs. I love them in Warhammer because, like, a lot of their stuff, like, for them, color, like, the strength of their belief can cause stuff to happen. And, like, certain colors are good luck to them and stuff. I just think that's a cool little detail. Also, the fact that they're technically a fungus, if I remember correctly. The orcs from Warhammer. Alright, well, I don't know where the sensors are, so tell me. Show me. Yay! Morning, Wishy. Don't worry about that emergency job. My buds called it off. It rained last night, and it's clean enough from that. Also, you wouldn't believe the dream I had last night. Full, should I donate my brain to science, bizarro. How about you? Let me guess, you dreamt of washing a skyscraper after a huge gorilla made a mess of it? I miss you. See you soon, buddy. Aw, I like this dude. Oh yeah, messages. Welcome to Mars, Astro Washer. We are extremely grateful that you took the time to come all the way out here. Your liquid oxygen reserves have been carefully calibrated to last precisely as long as the mission, so do not concern yourself with time constraints. Oh, and then it's... These are 40% depleted, meaning how much of the job. Because you get these text messages from your employer with these jobs, depending on the percentage of the what you've cleaned. Your mission: an exploratory rover has been contaminated with a dangerous substance. No terraforming or colonization can take place until you've eradicated the threat. The future of humanity's expansion through the solar system rests in your capable hands. The substance itself is an extraordinarily powerful psychoactive material. When exposed, the individual cannot help but act with absolute integrity. Can you imagine if something like that got into the wrong hands? We have no idea if the substance itself is terrestrial or alien in origin. In a previous outbreak, one of our colonies reorganized itself into a hierarchy determined solely by the skills, capability, and personality of the individuals. Terrifying. We have noticed footprints leading away from the rover that may or may not be human. Please investigate to ensure all contamination has been dealt with. And then we get the thing from... actually, let me read the messages from this one. Blimey, you're actually here. Wow. Manager makes us speak old world makes us speak oldie worldy to all external contractors, and then wonder why no one ever turns up. We also have to give ourselves fancy names and prance around telling people that they putteth well. I literally have to talk like that all day. It's not right, is it? My name's Jules. I was born in 2004 and I can't stand anything about swords, dragons, or eggs. I'm not even an actor or anything. I'm just terrible at making sandwiches and needed a new job in a hurry. God, this is a mood. Your job looks alright, though. Bet it's well satisfying, washing off all that crud and that. Swoosh! That sound, too, so good. Water hitting the surface, cascading down, like a rivulet of hair from a high tower. Flipping heck, this job's getting to me. Who'd describe water like that? You need an assistant? And then their response from that I already had already read. I do love the text. I do love the messages. They're some of the best parts. So next time, so I think this is gonna be it for me for the night, just because I'm starting to get tired, and I don't want to screw up my sleep schedule too much. So I shouldn't go to bed too much later than 11 or 11:30. But I think maybe next stream I'll start doing some of the main levels in the actual PowerWash game. Well, I say that. I mean the ones in the regular career, the story mode. I think I would like to start doing those and see how many streams it takes me to get through them, if that's okay with y'all. I think it would be fun. Yeah, because you get to meet all of the little characters, like Harper is one of my favorites because he's one of the first dudes we deal with. And I think the first job is cleaning the truck. And you see the truck at every job. Most of the time. I like the main campaign. Oh, and I'll have to take time to show y'all where the little kitty feets are in the regular levels. Plus, sometimes there's some random props that you can that are actually affected by the power washer. Not stuff you have to clean, but just random side objects that you can like put a burst of water at and it goes off flying. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I really appreciate you folks popping in for this. I'm gonna try to stream. Obviously, I'm gonna try to stream again next Saturday. I'd like to stream at least once before then. Maybe Thursday? Or, I don't know, maybe Tuesday. I don't know. I'll think on it. And I'll try to let you folks know at least 24 hours ahead of time when I have stuff planned. But I very much appreciate you folks popping in for this. Yeah, I am a sleepy creature now. But alrighty, my dears. I will talk with you guys later. Oh, Kit, Sandra, anyone who's watching, do you have someone for me to raid? I don't know if anyone's live, and I don't follow a ton of folks right now. I follow a handful of mutual friends. I don't know if any of them are live right now. Let's see. It looks like the alchemist is live. They might be the only person I see that's live, though, that I'm following. Excuse me while I frantically search for some stuff. If you folks have a recommendation for someone to raid, please let me know. If not, I might just go bother the alchemist. Okay. Alright. Well, if that's the case, I guess I'm just gonna end the stream as is, but thank you guys again for popping in. I hope you all have a good rest of your night. Until we talk again, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye for now.